Click the link below for a 30-day free trial of Audible. Yo! Alright, so for today's video, I actually found this post on Twitter. It is a JJK characters matchup, or essentially kind of like basically some what if versus battles that I found. And some of these are pretty interesting, and some of these kind of strike me as no-brainers. So today I thought for a good video, we'd actually go through them and I'll give my personal thoughts and see, you know, who I think wins a lot of these versus battles. I think some of these are a little too obvious, but I definitely could see some people debating me and definitely thinking that I'm incorrect, which is perfectly fine because I'm not a perfect JJK scholar by any means. Today we will go through that. Yeah, but before we start today's video, guys, please make sure you use code Daffy10 at your next purchase at animeexpress.com. Please make sure that you get yourself something nice like a hoodie, a t-shirt, a pokeball, or even like some anime inspired lights, anything anime related that you need. Please make sure you head on over there. Link will be in the description below. Please make sure you use my code. That is Daffy10. And yeah, let's get on to it. So the first matchup we have is Kashimo versus Yuta. Y'all know like Kashimo isn't like even like top 5 in the verse. Is he top 10? I don't know. I don't even think he's top 10, honestly. He doesn't even have a domain expansion from what we've seen, and I mean just the whole sound thing. Okay, so Kashimo suffers very heavily from a very similar thing that Hikari suffers from, which is actually interesting while their fight happened, is Hikari needs to get up close, right? His weakness is, you know, the fact that he heavily relies on close quarters combat. Now I know what you're saying, oh, but didn't he channel lightning through his staff? But yeah, Yuta is smart enough to know what he would be doing with that staff. Hikari isn't unintelligent by any means. I don't necessarily think he's just more of a head-on tank it, get in your face, because his, you know, his curse energy and his curse technique, especially with the lucky rolls, he's basically immortal. But Yuta can't really play like that, and Yuta's been shown to be way more analytical and way more cautious when it comes to certain types of things. So if he sees like if he were to see Kashimo basically like throw his staff or whatever, he would probably suggest like think something's up. Never mind the fact that we know that for sure Yuta's domain expansion is absolutely disgusting with the amount of techniques that he has in all those swords, like the endless amount inside of the domain. But we also know that Kashimo doesn't even have a domain to begin with, and the fact that Yuta's RCT, his reverse curse technique, is absolutely ludicrous. He's tanking all these slashes and everything from Sukuna. Now granted, everyone did have a chance to train, but Kashimo had an opportunity to train with them as well, and Kashimo has never been shown to have reverse curse technique to this magnitude. So like, what are we even talking about, bro? I don't really know if Yuta would even play that kind of game with him, honestly. Now, we have seen, you know, we know Yuta has his sword and everything like that, and it's weird when people power scale Yuta, especially myself, because the biggest show out that he had, it was said that he was still restricting himself. Is Kashimo faster than Yuta? I mean, probably, but I mean, Yuta's a powerhouse in terms of the amount of curse energy he has. I think in terms of curse energy, it goes 15 to 20 fingers Sukuna, or like 19 fingers Sukuna, whatever. Then it goes Gojo, and then it goes Yuta, and then like Kenjaku's like kind of like in there, around there ish. No, Kashimo is not putting anything on Yuta. No. Maki versus Hikari. Okay, so I could definitely see where people with this one would lean more so towards Hikari, because people are like, oh well, Hikari, he's basically unkillable, he could just give Maki that work. Here's the thing, Hikari is very, very good, right? Hikari is very, very good when it comes to lasting in a battle, but if you are against somebody whose entire kit kind of counters you, Maki can outlast it, right? Maki can take a lot of these blows that he's offering up, because you gotta understand, Hikari's biggest thing is his damage output. His damage output is ass. It's arguably worse than Yuji's. You know how Yuji has his raw strength, which is absolutely monstrous. He can throw cars. He like took a chunk out of a building when he was fighting Sukuna. We saw that in his fight with Mahito in the anime at the end of season 2, that he like took that 100 sign and threw it at that curse. Well, Hikari can't really do that. Now he does have his curse energy reinforcement, where he was, you know, punching that shipping container. That's cool and all, but I definitely feel like Yuji could do that as well, if not better, right? So in terms of raw strength, Hikari doesn't have that. Hikari is just a regular person, and so Maki would very easily be able to outlast, if not just outspeed Hikari and cleave his head off if she were to have a cursed tool or something like that. But Maki basically is like a brick wall for him. She can't, no matter how hard he tries to punch her or like choke her out or something like that, she's just not, no, it's not gonna happen. So Maki definitely takes this. We have Aoi Todo Maibraza versus Kento Nanami. So this is a very interesting matchup, actually. I actually like this one. Nanami is more experienced than Todo, which does play a battle, or play into these kinds of battles. But Todo is also a monster. Todo is also a beast in what he does, and I'm sure that Todo could find a way. I mean, Mahito was like bordering on special grade. I don't necessarily know if I would. It's different whenever you raid special grade sorcerers, special grade curses, but like Mahito's like transfiguration. I mean, like, dude, when we start like getting into like culling game stuff, like Mahito's getting waxed, right? But quote unquote special grade Mahito was having a bit of trouble with Todo. He had to activate his domain, anything like that. We don't know if Nanami has a domain. We know Todo doesn't have a domain from what we've seen. We know that Todo has a simple domain. We know he does know some stuff here and there. Honestly, I feel like Nanami's experience would take this here. Now, I'd probably say that Todo's raw strength is higher than Nanami's, but the 7-3 technique that Nanami has would definitely, I don't know. Here's the thing: if Todo catches one of those 7-3s, he's getting a limb taken off. And I think Nanami is smart enough to know that when Todo uses his hands to clap, obviously he's going to see it, that something's going to happen. So he'd probably focus the 7-3 on his shoulder or maybe his arm, similar to what Mahito did. But it's just, it's hard. This is actually an interesting fight. I'm leaning more so towards Nanami. You could convince me of a Todo win, but for now, I'm like high diff in Nanami's favor. That's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to settle on. Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious. We have Dagon versus Jogo. Wasn't Jogo stated to be outright the strongest disaster curse? I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, because whenever Maki, Nabito, and Fushiguro, they were like, they saw Toji kill Dagon. They're like, whoa, like this guy, referring to Jogo, is faster than the last one. And I mean, regardless of that statement by itself, so we know that Jogo was given his very best to Sukuna, and I mean, Sukuna wasn't really, he was really playing with him. But Dagon's biggest thing is he can't do anything to you up close that bad. I mean, he's not weak by any means, but the Shikigami and all that's not, no. And the thing is that Jogo excels at both. He has those like little mini volcanoes that he can like spawn on like buildings. How he cooked Naobito, he had them like facing towards him in two different directions. We know that up close he will just fry you if you even like touch his hand on you. He has his head, the Krakatoa. He has that in his hand. We know that, there's no way that Dagon takes this, man. I mean, like, regardless of any Shikigami that get thrown at Jogo, he's just gonna fry him. And he has those little mosquito things, those little bug things that explode as well, which could definitely lead Dagon into a corner. Now you could say, oh, well, what if he gets caught by his domain? But I mean, I feel like Jogo is pretty damn resilient. I mean, he got the top of his head cut off when he regenerated pretty quickly. If Nanami can survive a death swarm for X amount of time, I'm sure Jogo could figure something out, because Jogo is not unintelligent either. Also, it's known, or from what I know, that Dagon doesn't have a maximum technique, and I don't know how he would survive a maximum meteor. I mean, he could maybe, like, I don't know, like sink into the water or something. Like, I mean, there's no water that's gonna stop a meteor, bro. So I don't know. Jogo's giving Dagon the business. I don't know why this is a thing. Okay, interesting. We have Miwa versus Junpei. So I know everybody memes and clowns on Miwa, right? Obviously, it's fun, it's easy, but she is a student at Jujutsu Tech for the Kyoto school. She studies Jujutsu. She knows about Jujutsu. And Junpei, we know that his brain was wired for sorcery, and we never got a chance to see Junpei actually get to study Jujutsu and to find out about his abilities and all that. So like moon dregs, I mean, if it touches you, poison, like, big deal. I mean, his Shikigami was out for like five or 6 pages total or something like that. It was not a very long time that we saw his Shikigami. So you're like, oh, well, poison, but I mean, like, anybody with a brain would see, okay, well, I should probably not get touched by this thing. And you know, Junpei doesn't have like a weapon or any, you know, hands to speak of. He can't brawl, he can't box with him. So I mean, Miwa takes it easily. I mean, Yuji was about to, like, could have knocked Junpei's head off if he really wanted to, but he was just like, hey man, like, snap out of it, this isn't you, you know, trying to save him, trying to get him off the dark side. So no, Miwa takes this easy. We have Yorozu versus Curse Noya. So really it just depends on that true sphere thing. I don't necessarily know. I don't think that Noya could get through the true sphere. If her armor, dude, it's so weird when people try to power scale Yorozu, because she fought a heavily nerfed Sukuna. I mean, her construction ability is cool, but honestly, man, I think Noya just might outright be faster. I say that, but like, if Maki, who is a human being, now granted she has the heavenly restriction, can tank a full-on like slam at, from Mach 3 or whatever by Curse Noya, I don't know if I would assume that Yorozu's armor would take it. As far as a domain expansion clash, I mean, they're both like restricted. They're restricted or barrier imbued domains, and we don't even know what Yorozu does. I mean, Yorozu's not like dumb, right? Like, we know that she's very powerful. I'm leaning towards Noya, honestly. I'm trying to figure out why. No, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Noya takes this, because there's that panel that we saw of her kind of struggling with like the bull Shikigami, and that thing was like running in a straight line. And we know it wasn't nearly as fast as whatever this thing that Noya looks like. And we also don't know how heavy he is either. We know he can just like propel himself. So I mean, that could be like, I don't know, like he's like around the size of like an elephant or something like that. So I'm inclined to say Noya. Also, Noya's projection sorcery is very tricky to deal with, because I feel like if you get caught like once or twice with that, you're kind of cooked. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Noya. Yorozu is not fodder, by the way. Yorozu, like, she's like obviously the worst antagonist in the series, but Yorozu is not like bad or anything like that. I definitely do think she's a powerful sorcerer. It's just that construction ability is okay. It's not fantastic. She's just an upgraded or like a fully realized Mai, basically. So yeah, there's that. Ooh, Kashimo versus Toji. Ooh, so okay, I like this. Okay, interesting. Off the top of my head, I want to lean towards Kashimo, right? I do want to lean towards Kashimo. Toji's very fast. Toji's incredibly fast. I mean, he was able to basically like kind of sneak up on Gojo like that. Kashimo is not slow by any means, and we know that his curse energy, basically, it has like the properties and like the sting of like lightning or like electricity. And we also know Kashimo is very capable of like thinking with on the cuff things such as like poisonous gas or toxic gas with some of the things that he can do. Honestly, dude, if it's like a battle of hands, ooh, I'm leaning towards Kashimo. If it's a battle of hands, I definitely think like at one point Kashimo took off half of Hikari's face. Toji's not walking off that, you know what I mean? Especially if it's, you know, his head or something like that. I mean, Toji with a tool, it's fine, right? And I feel like people kind of overhype Toji, mainly because, you know, obviously, you know, he's everybody's baby daddy in the JJK fandom. Toji's biggest thing is that his speed and his raw strength are absolutely ludicrous, dude. Now, we know that he was able to kind of do some work against Geto's dragon, which has like one of the toughest hides that he has, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he's fighting Kashimo. I'm leaning towards Kashimo, honestly. I feel like Kashimo's the electricity that he has on him is too much. It's too much. If Toji tries to get in close, I feel like, dude, you try to get through that like that aura he has and you get touched. It's bad. It's real bad for you. So, oh yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think Kashimo takes it. Yuta and Maki versus Kenjaku. This is I kind of don't like this. So here's the thing. So Kenjaku is not typically one for like one-on-one fights. He's something he typically does not prefer to do. He's more so he's a schemer, right? He's a plot master, right? Mr. Yap 'em up. So one-on-one fights aren't necessarily his thing. Now, he can perform. We know he can certainly perform, and we know he is very skilled, and we know he is extremely smart. But honestly, man, I think Kenjaku takes this. If they don't have a plan, if this is just like you drop them in an arena and they have to go, Kenjaku's taking this. He's been alive way too long. I mean, he has centuries worth of knowledge at his disposal. The amount of curses that he could summon at how many special grades is kind of hard. Now you could say that, oh well, Yuta can just, you know, hit him with the love beam or whatever like that, and that's fine because we know that his love beam is stronger than an Uzumaki. But I feel like Kenjaku, knowing Geto's past, he would have something up his sleeve to counter that, or to not have himself in that situation. You know what I mean? Grade 1 cursed spirits aren't really doing anything to Maki. I mean, special grade cursed spirits, depending if they have like a domain or something like that, like the smallpox curse, we'll see. But like, I don't like, sure hits kind of like that don't really do anything if they're like automated, like Noya's, because, you know, her cursed energy, you know, is that of a building or whatever. Like, it's nothing, so they identify as a building. So like if a curse that Kenjaku were to summon, like, has like a sure hit that like it needs to like see her, I don't know if it would necessarily do that much. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Kenjaku, honestly. He's got way too much experience, and he knows so much about both of them. I don't like. Again, Yuta had to sneak him, right? We know that Yuta had to sneak up on him because he was constantly keeping tabs on where all of them were. And he says that, oh well, you don't get what everybody sees about Yuta, but we know that Yuta's still a monster, right? So I don't. Nah. I'm leaning more so towards Kenjaku. Takaba versus Gojo. Okay, so this is interesting, right? So it's hard because with Takaba, he's a gag character, right? It's like gag characters like Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes characters and all this. They're so hard to power scale, man. I know everybody's like, oh, what if Takaba's like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Gojo died? I mean, like, anything that can happen, like, yeah, whatever. And we know it's like reality bending. It's like a pseudo domain from what I saw with Takaba's ability, where like Kenjaku was just like going along with his foolishness, but he still like was retaining, you know, his actual essence of himself, but he was just going through it. Like when Kenjaku was the nurse, when Kenjaku was the policeman, when they were, you know, at a comedy show, and all these different things. I mean, I'm leaning towards Gojo, man. I mean, like, what if, like, oh, like, Takaba's like, oh, well, what if you had no cursed energy or something like that? Like, it doesn't necessarily work like that. Like, they're like, for Takaba, there should be like a setup or like something funny. Like, oh, there's a special grade curse that Geto summoned. Oh, would it be funny if it got hit by a car? Like, it's not like it would just, oh, would it be funny if that thing exploded? It's like, it's a scenario that follows, right? But I'm leaning towards Gojo. Like I said, I mean, the experience plays a lot into most of this. So, I mean, Gojo being a sorcerer, you know, and having the eyes, you know, the 6 eyes, I'm sure that there's probably something he could see with Takaba's like cursed energy. I'm sure there'd be like a leak or something that like flows around Takaba, or like a shroud. It maybe like would look like a mist or something like that before like Takaba starts like reality bending. I'm sure he would be able to see it. We also know that Gojo can like straight up just teleport as well. Like Gojo's just too fast. I mean, he could just like like punch a hole in Takaba's chest if we really wanted to. Yeah, I mean, the second that Gojo puts his hand on Takaba, it might be over. He just hollow purples his entire body. But then also it's entirely possible that Takaba just like thinks that hollow purple is just a big gumball and he just like eats it or like throws it away or something, or like, you know, like plays volleyball with it like like Mashal. So I'm leaning towards Gojo, but like characters like Takaba with like these like ridiculous like Toon Force like abilities, it's really hard. But I'm leaning towards Gojo, honestly. Gojo is similar to Kenjaku in that he's very intelligent. Mechamaru Absolute Mode versus Ryu. What? I feel like Ryu's taking this. So you want to know something? So a lot of people don't know this. They kind of like forgot this, but Ryu's beam that he can fire is stronger than Yuta's love beam, and that's shredded to absolute, you know, Uzumaki. I mean, we know Ryu has domain expansion, Mechamaru doesn't. Now we know he has a simple domain. Yeah, that's cool, right? That's cool. Simple domain can only take you so far, though. It can only do so much. We also seen that if your domain's strong enough, it can just start stripping it away, like what we saw with Kenjaku and Yuki's fight. Now, I'm pretty sure that's because intrinsically Kenjaku's domain is barrierless, so I think that has something to do with it. But Mecha, dude, come on. this is what I'm saying. Like, if Mahito was struggling with this thing for a minute, Ryu's not. Bro, he's gonna see a giant mech, I'm gonna blast his head off real quick. Like, he's not gonna be playing those games. And also, Ryu's incredibly fast. He's very strong as well. Like, he was giving Yuta some business, like hand to hand. He was stronger than Yuta close quarters combat, and he even tanked one of those like thin icebreaker things that Yuta stole. So yeah, I don't this ain't done for Ryu. No, he takes this absolutely. Angel versus Kenjaku. Ooh. No, no, Kenjaku's taking this. So we know that Angel is, you know, one of those reincarnated sorcerers. So Kenjaku obviously knows about them, and it would be assumed that Kenjaku knows about Angel, or, you know, Jacob's ladder. And so I'm assuming he just wouldn't even allow himself to get caught by something like that. It looks like it has like a semi-decent wind-up. I mean, it's light, but I don't necessarily know if that he would even play that. You know what I mean? I'm sure that, and we know that he has some curses that were like distort the way you look at things, like the catfish curse or whatever, where Yuji thought he was falling down. Now, obviously that wouldn't work because Angel primarily flies. But like Hana herself, she can't really do anything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? She has no hands. Like no. I'm assuming we don't even know if she has like any reverse curse technique like that, because Sukuna took a chunk out of her and she didn't even recover all of it. So yeah. And also, I mean, that was like a 15 finger Sukuna, who he kind of tanked it for a little bit. Like he was getting, you know, flambéed with the and then he was like, wait, no, I lied. But also, like, Sukuna's pretty fast too. Why he didn't just get out of the way of it, we know Sukuna's pretty, you know, prideful. So I don't know. I mean, it would be within his character to see if, like, man, can I take this? But that also is kind of foolish. Kenjaku is way more, like I said, more scheme heavy. He's a lot more cautious. So he's not going to play something like that. And Hana herself is still very naive and very young, and I'm sure she could easily be duped by something Kenjaku could do. So now Kenjaku's taking this. I don't know what kind of Uraume versus Jogo. I kind of lean towards Jogo, honestly. Uraume is not bad, right? And we don't know if they have a domain expansion either. But I mean, if we're going straight, water, ice, volcano, and ice. I mean, what is the temperature it would take to freeze lava? I don't think it's entirely possible, is it? Because ice forms at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. Lava's temperature can range from 1300 to 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, but yeah, no. It's just a bad matchup. No. So Jogo takes this. I mean, Uraume, if Uraume is struggling with Hikari, I don't. Here's the Uraume was able to kind of sneak everybody at the end of Shibuya because no one knew who they were, right? Like they're like, oh, it's an androgynous kid with the you know, the monk robe, whatever. They didn't know what they could do as far as like their abilities and everything like that. So like they were like, oh, ice at such a high degree. It even took Chozo like a second with his flowing scale or whatever. But like even Chozo kind of warming his own body temperature up, being able to thaw himself out at some point. Like, come on, bro. Like that's light work for Jogo. That's light work. And at the very last, we have Sukuna versus Gege. In a 1v1 scenario, I'm gonna be real, man. Gege is just a cat, and Sukuna has 4 arms with monstrous amounts of strength and everything like that. We have domain expansion, but we do know that Gege does have a Toon Force at his disposal. We know he also does have reality bending techniques, but from what we've seen so far, it seems that Sukuna is seeming to be running the entire Jujutsu Kaisen gauntlet, and you know we're in the knee deep depths of Sukuna Kaisen at this point. So I think my GOAT Sukuna takes it here, man. But this is very good. I actually like some of these, man. These actually, some of these were very, very interesting to go over. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about some of these Jujutsu Kaisen matchup fights, man. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. But yeah, it's me, Boy Def. You guys, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. And yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next video. Now make sure you take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Peace.